All right. So today, you're going to forget who you are so that you can remember who you actually are. So take a moment to really let go of all the ideas you have about yourself. You're this person with a name, with a gender, with an identity, with all the roles that you play in life. Kind of let go of your human self and even the ways you think of yourself as like high self-esteem or low self-esteem, whatever concepts you have, just kind of let go of them as if you're not there. Literally, if you're not there, you won't have a concept about yourself. So just for the sake of this exercise, just delete yourself. And as you do that, zoom out of your life. So whatever was going on in your life and whatever you have in your life going on in the future, whatever plans you have, and also delete your life, that you have a life, that you have a purpose going on, you have something to do here, some people to attend to, some relationships, some duties to perform, some responsibilities. Also kind of forget about those. And first notice the freedom you actually just get from that you kind of relax and just be for a while. You don't have to do anything. And whatever sensory experience you have right now, whether it's my voice or other sounds or any sensation on your skin or inside, just don't go there. You just stay with my voice. And that's the only focus you have. Forget all the reference points you have and just either remember or pretend that you are God. So I tell you it is so, but if you don't believe me, just pretend that you are God. So you have already forgotten about your human self and just remember that you're God. Don't go into any explanation, any argument, any this or that. Just remember that you're God. And then we can go further, but first, be God. And you don't have to meditate for that right now, because you can also take that route of pretending or just being convinced of being God. You can do it eyes closed, eyes open, doesn't matter. And now, as you do that, as you just remember the fact that you're God, you can now take this incarnation in two ways. And just remembering that God opening its eyes into some incarnation, and it has totally forgotten about itself, that it is God, and now it's here, completely wiped out all the memories of being God. Now you're trying to figure it out what you are, and I've just told you what you are, and you're trying to make sense of it. And now, being in this dream or incarnation, the two ways you can take it is by being God and only seeing yourself as God, which is one valid way to look at it because you are God. And then living your life according to however you want. That's valid because that's true. And then the other way you can take it is, now that you have opened your eyes in this incarnation, in this dream, waking up in a dream, now you have an honor to not only remember that you're God, but to remind everybody that they are God. And then also seeing everything as God. Seeing your creation as well as other beings who have completely forgotten that they're coming from the same source, same God. Not a God that we preach, but the God that we are. So then how would you live your life? Because if you go about telling everybody that they're God, they're not going to believe you. So then you have a constraint of you cannot use your words. Like in this setting, I can tell you, and maybe you believe me. But how about other people? How do you tell them? So you can just be God. And through your radiance, through your presence, you remind everybody that they are God. Through your spark, through your light, through your love, that they are God as well. And then each moment becomes about, how can I do that more? How can I radiate more? How can I be of service more? How can I leave this dream a more beautiful place to dream in for other gods, the same God, but other incarnations of God that come here? So you see, your focus kind of shifts from your personal agendas and your personal stories to the remembrance of God, and then not only that, but living, embodying that in each moment to the best of your ability. And anytime you notice that you have concerns that God won't have, you just forget about them. Would God be worrying about your concerns? No. So you're not a child of God. You are God. You're the creator. So then, also what you create in your dream, and dream is also imagination. It's not just the physical thing that we see. This dream is also metaphysical. So now what you create in your dream, not only with what you physically do, but in your thought becomes your creation. So if you're thinking thoughts of things that are of not your true nature, then you're just going to create that. But if you think thoughts that are closer to your true nature, then you're just going to live as you're living in your home. You're not going to feel separated from God. And the same goes not only about yourself, what you think about yourself, but also the thoughts that you send others, whether you realize it or not. Whatever thoughts you have about others, each and every person, is the word that you're creating. It's nothing to do with others. And if somebody does wrong to you, imagine if somebody does wrong to God, what would God do? Exactly, just forgive. Because God forgives all. And it's only about your creation. Do you want to live in heaven or closer to home? Or do you want to live in a world of separation? It's still valid. It's your creation. It's just proving the fact that you're God. You're the creator. So what are you going to create? What are you creating? You can remember your power, your abundance, your love, and freedom, and just live from that moment to moment. And whoever comes in your field just experiences that. Maybe not even experience, but it's there for them to experience. It's there for them to take it if they want to. It's their free will, of course. Just like you used your free will to create your creation, your task then becomes to let others use their free will if they want to do the same. If they want to live in heaven, you just become that portal of God, of heaven, for others to get sucked in if they want to. But first, you got to become the portal by doing the work of just remembering God. And whatever you see in your creation, and creation includes not only other people and your word, but creation is also this body that you have constructed. Whatever you see in the creation becomes an object of love, part of heaven. Because even literally right now, if you were living in heaven, what would it be like? What would your thoughts be like? Just remember that. And then hell will go away. It will not exist. Home will be right here, right now. Because God is already here right now. It's for you to catch up to it. Okay, Martina is asking a question. How to relate this to thoughts about other people that are doing really bad things and I can't do nothing about that? So you can forgive their ignorance of being God. So you see the God in them, you see it, really see it. And then you kind of feel the compassion that they don't remember. So that's why they're agitated. That's why they're doing all of that. Because maybe if you had the same psychology, same patterns, maybe you'd do the worse. Who knows? Maybe they're doing their best. So you have then compassion that they're forgetting, they're creating their hell. So instead of you also getting sucked in their hell, you open your portal of heaven, and it doesn't mean that they're gonna come to your heaven, but you're just allowing that free will. But if you get sucked into their hell, there's no opportunity. You're adding on to what they're bringing to the world. But if you become the creator as you are, you create your own heaven, forget about the world, and then whoever wants to get sucked in comes along. So it's really about, you can say, yeah, ignore or forget or forgive. All of those things are the same thing if you focus on your creatorhood, your heaven. And it may be hard sometimes. That's fine. But that's the work. Because if it was easy, God wouldn't dream, God wouldn't incarnate, wipe out its memory. So this is the game. And I just provided you a cheat code. Just the best cheat code ever, God mode. Like, this is literally a cheat code to remember this. And now what are you gonna do with this cheat code? Take it as far as you can get. And ultimately, think of your creation as your only creation. So whatever you have in your consciousness is your creation. It doesn't mean that other people are not doing bad stuff, but those people are your creation. If you remember that you're God, then everything inside your dream is your creation. You don't have to take responsibility for that, but remembering that it is your creation and what you do with your creation. First, remembering it as heaven in your consciousness, and that's how we create heaven on earth. It's not to change other people's actions by infringing upon their free will, but it's to seeing them in the light that they are, and in your consciousness they will change, and if they don't change they will disappear. Because that's really the work. That's why I said previously, it's not just the physical work that we do, it is metaphysical. What kind of thoughts are you sending? What would God think? And you can, when it's hard, you can literally think it like, oh, what would God think about this situation, this person? What would God do? And literally just you can pretend that for a while. If you don't remember that, if you don't have access to that, and if you don't, then just pretend. Just be convinced that I'm only going to choose honorable thoughts. I'm only going to, like, those thoughts can be there. You're not your thoughts. Or you can say you're everything, but it's the same thing. But when it comes about picking the thoughts that you want to entertain, you have honor, you have some kind of duty in that, a responsibility of what you're choosing. And that's the work that we do as we create heaven on earth, as we embody God. And the more we kind of do this stuff, the other thoughts that are not really true or that are of not good vibrations, they kind of lose interest in you because you have not been entertaining them. So initially it may be hard because the way the brain has been programmed to entertain, to pick up that drama, to pick up this or that, is very addictive. Initially it may seem hard to do that, and that's okay. You can have compassion, you can have some self-forgiveness about that you have that, and it's your creation, so you created that. That's also you can remember. But then you also don't shy away from the work of deleting the patterns and then only picking the thoughts. And initially it may be conscious, very conscious, and then, as I've found, is it becomes easier and easier, simpler and simpler, because those thoughts don't, like, they don't have any weight on you. They can be there sometimes, like they can nudge you, like, by my thought process, by my belief system, by my judgment, by my this or that. But you're like, no, I already know what I want. I already know that I'm not gonna go into you. It's not a good deal. So bliss becomes effortless, bliss becomes easy, love becomes easy. You live as God, you think as God, be as God. So that's what I mean. Be an embodiment of God. Honor God. Devote yourself to God. Surrender to God. The more you do it, not only will you live a better life, not only will you have better thoughts, but that's how you're helping the world. That's how you're creating heaven. Just remember, there's nothing outside of you. It's your creation pushed out. It's your internal world pushed out. So take responsibility of your creation, but don't take responsibility for others. Let others change themselves as you change yourself. I know it's a paradox, it's a tricky thing to do, or understand, or realize, but we don't want to go into infringing upon other people's free will. We just want to change ourselves. And the more you claim yourself as God, the more remember that. So, what's left as God? What's left? Just an honor, a duty to serve, to share, to radiate, to love. And if you catch yourself not doing that, if you catch yourself absorbing and judging and thinking those patterns coming from lack or fear or doubt, just kind of remember God. And that's it. In that remembrance that I am God, everything else just goes away. Abundance comes to you, love comes to you, power comes to you, peace comes to you, freedom comes to you, faith comes to you. And you just surrender to the moment. And in that surrender, it doesn't mean that you don't operate as human or as God. In fact, what happens is that God kind of possesses you in your human form and you operate as God. So surrender is not really surrender of non-action. Surrender is giving up yourself to God so that God can take over. And that's why I say remembering the fact that you're God, it includes everything. It includes surrender. It includes wiping out negative vibration. It includes welcoming the positive, good vibration, home vibrations. It includes everything. Just in the sentence, I am God. So that's why this is the only practice. Take it with you. Practice it for a week. At least start with a day and then go on. But yeah, see where it takes you. Apply this cheat code, literally. Apply this as much as you can, often as you can. The practice is just to remember your God. Everything else will just happen accordingly, as it's supposed to be, not as you would like to be. And then you realize what's supposed to be is what you'd actually like. So just be God.